Welcome to the next Traffic Ultimatum video. Now in this video, I'm going to cover Chapter 5 on conversation marketing from the free traffic methods. Okay, so in the last video on social media marketing, we talked about creating a conversation around yourself and your site. So using sites and services like Facebook and Twitter, you are able to start the conversation and then have other people join in. With conversation marketing, you're still looking at conversations that are happening in your market, but rather than starting those conversations yourself, what you're doing is you're spying on the conversations that are already happening and then figuring out ways to interject your opinions, your thoughts into those conversations and then drive traffic back to your sites as a result. One of the more popular forms of conversation that goes on online is conversations that happen on forums, message boards, and discussion forums. So thankfully, there are a few different sites that allow you to search for these forums, Google being one of them, and I'll show you how to use that in just a moment. But there are also sites like BoardReader that are set up specifically to track the conversations that are happening. So what you can do is just type in the keywords that you want to focus on in BoardReader, click the search button, and now BoardReader will go through all of its results and find the most relevant ones for you. Okay, so in this case there are 973 posts in the last 3 months that contain the keyword phrase "win her back." Now, as you notice, I did use quotes around that. Reason being because if I don't, I'm going to have lots of results with things that are not related to my market. So, I could have, because when I don't put quotes around the keywords, it's going to find any posts that have the keyword "win" and "her" and "back." So, it could be. When I did a search before without the quotes, I believe a result comes up that talks about the America's Cup race, and they're talking about, when they talk about "win her back," they're talking about winning the America's Cup trophy. So as you can see, without the quotes, there's 76,000 posts in the last 3 months. But there's going to be lots of posts that aren't going to have anything to do at all with my market. Now that being said, there are going to be some that are related, so it's not a bad idea to do a quick look to see if there is sites related to your market that do pop up even without the quotes. So here's one that I found that's on cosmopolitan.com. Now, Cosmopolitan is a very popular magazine, women's magazine. It looks to me like this is their online forums that they have on their website at cosmopolitan.com. So people can post questions and others can post answers. The only difference I see from a regular forum is there are no links to other people's sites. There's no signature links, and it doesn't look like you can put links inside of the posts either. So although it may be a good way to get some information about the market and what their issues are, because you cannot post a link into these responses, I wouldn't suggest this as being the first place that you would go to try and leverage traffic. You may be able to actually just type in the full URL and then hope someone copies and pastes it. But there's far better options that we can look at. Okay, so this is one here, makeupalley.com. Okay, so this is a post about a TV show that's on MTV. So this particular thread might not apply, but let's take a look at the site here to see what it's about. Okay, so see, this site is not about making up. With a name like Makeup Alley, it could have been about making up with your ex, but it's not. It's obviously about makeup like eyeliner and lipstick and things of that nature. So that's not the type of site that is going to be targeting our market. Maybe on the fringe. If you're looking at girls or women trying to get their boyfriends back, that might be a good place if there are discussions that relate to it. Okay, so here's another one. It's loveshack.org. Now this one looks pretty promising. See, I like this here. The great thing about most of the form software, like vBulletin and what's the other one? PHP BB, I think is the other. But the software that's used to run forms, it usually breaks things up this way. So what I always like to do is when I know that I found a forum that is running that type of software, I'll go up to the top and then look to see the different subforms, because it could be, like in the case of this site. Okay, yes. See, in the case of this site, the loveshack.org has an entire subforum set up to the topic of breakups, reconciliation, and coping. Since this site has been live, there have been almost 500,000 posts related to these subjects. So there's definitely lots of content here that you may be able to leverage. There are going to be lots of questions, lots of people asking for guidance for information. So what I would do is copy and paste the URL loveshack.org/forums. And even probably this one, I just copy and paste this URL. I put it into a notepad document or an Excel spreadsheet. Then I would go ahead and create an account. So if I go back here. Okay, yeah, so there you go. So I can click here to register for free. Okay, so I'd enter in my details, create a username and a password. Then I would place that username and password in the same notepad document or Excel document. That way I'm going to have all the information there right at my fingertips for when I need it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just keep going through the same process at BoardReader to find different forums that I can post to. So that LoveShack one was a good one. That's definitely something that I would add to my list because it has an entire subsection related to the market I'm looking for. This is a good sign as well. It's showing up multiple times in the results. Okay, so as you can see, a lot of the results are from sites that are not related to the market. So there is this network liquidator site. There's this stormfront.org. I don't imagine that these sites have anything at all to do with the market. They're probably about something totally unrelated. Okay, well this is... Oh, okay, well I would have never guessed by that URL that this was this type of site. It looks to me like this is a white pride site. So I apologize for the content if it offends anyone. It wasn't my intention. I'm just clicking on the links that I find. As you can see, there are people who are in this market who are looking to win their X back. So like I said, I mean, you're going to find this type of content on lots of different sites that are not related to the market itself. So when you do come across a site like LoveShack, that's definitely something that you want to hold on to. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and search with the quotes just to see if I can find anything else. Okay, so there's some Yahoo answers. There's that network liquidators again. Okay, so let's go to the third page here. There's still nothing really there. Okay. So no, I don't really see. So I'm already into page 4 here. I don't really see much more than that. So, but that. Oh, wait. Here we go. Talkaboutmarriage.com. Okay, so this looks like it could be a pretty big site. Okay, so talk about marriage. Let's go to the main. So coping with the infidelity. relationships and spirituality, considering divorce or separation, going through divorce or separation, self-help marriage and relationship programs. So this talk about marriage site would definitely be something I would add to the list. Just like the loveshack.org, I would just copy and paste the URL into a document, create an account with a username and password, and then save that as well so I could have it when I start posting. Okay, great. So the other way that you can view information in BoardReader is by topic. Honestly, it's just really another way to view the information. It lets you see how many topics were discussed in the last 3 months that relate to your keywords. So in this case, there was 1,236 references on 282 different sites in the last 3 months. Also gives you an idea of the trend for the keywords. Gives you an example of some of the sites that the discussions are appearing on, as well as some related threads. And then it lists the latest threads and hot threads that are related to the keywords that you enter. So it's really just another way to look at the information. You may end up finding a different website because of this, because it just makes it a little bit easier to see. You could have bypassed that loveshack.org form pretty easily, but this way it highlights it and brings it to your attention. So although I've found two different sites, or two different forms, that I could post to through BoardReader, I don't have to stop there. I can also use formfinder.org, so the formfinder.org, and I can go through the same process. So I can place quotes around my keywords and search them at FormFinder to see what it comes up with. And in this case, it's not coming up with anything that's related to my market. It looks like it's kind of ignored the fact that I put quotes around the keywords, because it's actually returning results that have to do with back pain and back problems, going back to college, backlinks, even poker, as well as Sirius satellite radio, so it's not even close to the market that I want to target. So, but that's okay. What I can do is I can also search by categories. So this is a little bit hit and miss sometimes because it depends on how they categorize things. Something like the relationship market, it could be listed under health, but more likely than not it's going to be listed under society and people. So there we go. So under society and people we have a relationships link, and then I can just go through the different options here, and I can see that there's an Ask of the Love forum. So if I click on the Read More link here, it'll take me here. Just gives me a little bit more information about the site, but I can click on the link here if I want to visit the site directly. Okay, so there's love discussions, relationships, dating and marriage, broken heart, breaking up. So there you go. There's another subforum on this site related directly to the market that we're going to target. There's quite a few posts, but it looks to me like it's not that. The posts on here are not that recent. So even before we get out of the first page of this subforum, you're already going back to August of 2009, which is just a little bit over 6 months ago. So it's definitely not a very active subsection of the forum, but that doesn't mean like you can rule it out. It could be, it could be that in the future it's an active forum. It could be as well that you could answer other questions. So something like relationships, dating, and marriage, love discussion. There could be other areas of the site where conversations come up that relate to your market, where people could be directed back to your site. So that's definitely one I would add to the list because it is close enough. As well, there could be some opportunities to advertise on that forum or to leverage traffic in some other way. Because they're not a direct competitor, there may be some there may be some ways for you to piggyback their efforts and market through it that way. So piggyback marketing is something that we'll talk about in another video, but this is definitely a situation where you might want to keep track of this sort of forum for that sort of need rather than for posting comments and answering questions and driving people back to your site that way. Okay, so there's another website here, Conscious Living. Okay, there is a relationship section here, so relationship problems, unmarried, married, dating. Okay, so this is definitely, there's lots of posts here in that relationship problems, unmarried section. So it looks to me like, let's see here, how recent. Okay, I mean, some of the posts are recent. It doesn't look like there's a lot of activity. But, like I said, there could be other ways or other areas where you could leverage the traffic that this form is getting. So that's something that I would definitely add to the list and keep it in mind. Okay, so all I would do is just continue to go through the results as I am. Okay. I'm just going next here. So discusses about young relationships, your greatest relationship challenge. So those are actually all different subforms of that same site. So those may or may not relate better to the market that we're going to promote. But you can definitely visit those subforums and get a better idea of whether or not you can we should be joining that forum and answering questions. Okay, so Board Tracker is another site that you can use. Once again, the process is the same. Oh, let's take my caps locks off there, sorry. Win her back. Okay, so I'm going to search for that. Board Tracker is just going to look through all its results. It's going to give me some information, some results related to the Win Her Back market. Okay, so it's just taking a moment here for Board Tracker to find those results. I'm just going to pause the video until it's done. So just like the other sites, just like Form Finder and Board Tracker, or excuse me, Board Reader, Board Tracker provides the results in a list. It gives me an idea of the site itself. So it gives me the name of the site. Oh, that's not okay. So that thread no longer exists. But actually, let's go back to that site because the site itself could be a good one. Let's go back up here. Oh, okay. Wow, so here's a whole section on breaking up and divorce. It has over 500,000 posts. Let's see, breaking up. Okay, wow, this is not only are there lots of posts related to breaking up, but they're recent. If you notice in the other forums, the first page of results, some of the ones at the bottom of the page were quite old. Not the case with this site. The oldest post is from yesterday, and even if I go back to the second page, I'm only getting posts that are about 2 days old. So this is definitely a very active forum. It would definitely be a forum that I would want to join and start answering questions. There's lots and lots of. Okay, so people are confused. Okay, so here you go, right here. Someone asking a question. What should I do? Okay, so someone referencing another thread. Okay, so if I click on that, what is this thread about? Okay, so there you go. You can see lots and lots of posts, lots of content, all related to the market. This would definitely be a forum that I would join because the content, there's lots of it, there's lots of posts, and it's very active. There's people that are on that site today looking for information about how to win back the affections of their ex. So it's definitely one that I would add. Okay, now if we go to these other sites here, let's see here. Okay, so this is the studentroom.co.uk. Okay, so it's a student community site, and it looks to me like someone's posted a question that relates to Yeah, so they have a section in the form that's on health and relationships, and someone's posted a question related to getting their ex back. So there are lots and lots of relationship questions, um, but it could be that there's very few questions that relate to winning her back. So that forum, although it could be a very active forum with lots of posts, not targeted as much to our market as the others that we've found. So I would probably leave that one by the wayside, not worry about that, but you keep going through the list, you'll be able to find more. So by this point, we've found about 3 or 4 different forums, one of which is very, very active that we can continue to monitor. Basically, every day there's going to be more posts and more content on that forum that we can post to. We'll have a profile set up. With the profile, we'll have a link back to my site. As well, I will put a signature link at the end of my post so that every time I post something, the bottom of the post will have a link back to my website as well. That's of course assuming that the forum allows me to do that. Some of them do not allow signature links, so as I'm going through this process, as I'm going through the process of registering the account, that's the point where you'll be able to enter in your signature link information. Okay, so yeah, so there's lots of different sites here. It really is, it is somewhat of a time-consuming process, but it is really just a matter of clicking on the links, visiting the sites, seeing what they're about, seeing how much information there is related to the market, and then making a decision as to whether or not that's a site you should join. So, but it doesn't stop there. In addition to the other forum search engines that we've used, we can also visit big boards. Okay. Now, when I search "win her back" on big boards, it doesn't come up with any information. But let me just try the more general "get X back." No, and there's nothing there either. So that's okay, because big boards does have a forum directory. So if I click on forum directory, then go to society again. Now it's probably going to be under people. Okay, yeah, so people and relationships. And then there we go. So here's a list. Then a brief description of each of the different sites. So there's this Dr. Amor, which is a love, sex, and relationship forum that's actually in Spanish. There's also a Planet. I wouldn't have a clue how to pronounce that, so I won't even bother. But there's it's a German site here that's on love and relationships. So I myself do not speak Spanish nor German, but if you do, or if you want to hire a translator, or you want to hire someone to be on your team who can speak those languages, you can definitely visit these sites and see how much activity there is. If there's enough activity, you may want to join those sites and then start posting. It's definitely going to be a little crack or a little crevice in the niche that a lot of people probably aren't going to venture into. So you could own the market for this. You could own this source of traffic as far as driving traffic to the offers. You can even set up a Spanish landing page. Um, there's a whole bunch of things that you could do if you find that this is going to be profitable. So you can just go through the list that you get here from big boards and click on them. You can visit them. Love Shack is listed here. There's this Profile Haven, which seems to be looks to me like it's kind of a sports site. Don't know what that is. Loving You Love and Romance forums. Okay, so love advice, long distance relationships. Okay, so there's lots and lots of posts all related to relationships and relationship advice. So, oh, there we go. There's a whole section on breakups and broken hearts. Okay, and they're fairly recent. I mean, you go all the way to the bottom. It's about a month old, but that's not too bad. Could definitely be a place where you could make some posts to answer some questions and start driving traffic back to your site. Okay, so once we've gone through the results that we're getting from big boards, the last place that you can look is actually Google itself. Once again, you can use the keywords related to your market. So far we've been using win her back. The other thing you can actually do is look at the broad market as well. Okay, so in this case, we know that the broad market that we're targeting is about the get your X back or get my X back. So what I can do is I can type those keywords, go to discussions, and then look for the last 24 hours. Okay, so in the last 24 hours, Google has indexed 261,000 pieces of content that contain the keywords get your X back. Now, if I put quotation marks around my keyword phrase, it's greatly going to reduce the number of results. It's going to help target things a lot more for me, and it's going to give me 644 results in the last 24 hours. Now, I can go and visit the different sites that come up in these results. Okay, just like I have been, so let me see. Okay, so broken controllers. Okay, so I don't know what. Let me see what kind of site this is. What is this? Okay, so I don't know what. I think this is maybe a gaming website. I don't know. It doesn't look to be. It definitely is not a relationship advice site. So, but it seems to have. There's another one. What are they doing? Is it posting Handy Guides Club? I don't know. It could be like a wares site where they find different books and they find different things and they post them for people to download them for free. It could be that, but it definitely looks like that site is not related to the market that we're going after. So, okay. So going through this list, I'm gonna find different sites. Now this is not a forum, but it is a message board, or excuse me, it is a blog that allows comments. So although I cannot use this for my forum marketing efforts, I may be able to use it in the next step. So we'll get to that in just one second. What I'll do, like I said, I can search X back, try and put that in quotes and see what we get. Okay, so there's that E Not Alone site. There's this gettingmyxback.net. What is this? Okay, so once again, this is a blog that allows comments. Yeah, this is a blog that allows comments. It's so I could definitely keep it in mind for my blog commenting or my blog trackbacks. So I would just same as before, just copy and paste the URL and put it into a notepad or an Excel document so I have it for reference. Yeah, but I just keep going through the results that Google gives you. You can use different keywords. So get my girlfriend back, get him back, get her back, win her back, win him back. Stop divorce, relationship repair. There's lots of different keywords that you could use. You're going to have those keywords from the keyword research that you've done earlier. So just go through and enter those in. Whether if you do it with Google, with Board Reader, Form Finder, Board Tracker, or Big Boards, you'll find different forms related to your market. Just write them down, keep them handy, and make sure you set up an account with a username and password as well. So then that way when a question does come up, you can start posting your answers and driving traffic back to your site. Now that we have a handful of forms that we can post to, we're actually ready to move on to the next step, and that's blog commenting. Now, as we just saw, we did find a blog by going to Google, so we'll just continue to do the same. Just go to Google, I'll type in my keywords for X back. Only difference is I'll go to show options, I'll select blogs, and then I can select the past 24 hours if I like. So in the past 24 hours, Google says there have been 30,000 pieces of content related with those keywords. But like I said, it's going to give us some false results because we didn't have the quotes around the keyword phrase. So when I add those, it drops the number of results down to 2,700. But it's going to give me results that are a lot closer to the market. Okay, so the first site that I see here, I'm just going to click on that because what I want to do is visit the site. There we go. So there it is. Now, what I want to do is, where is it? What I want to look for, what I'm looking for is the RSS feed for this site. Okay, now it doesn't look like they have it posted. Now there is, if I go down here, there is a comments RSS feed. That's not what I want. So if I go, let's try and go to the home page and see if we can find it there. Okay, so here's the home page. Let me try and see if I can find the RSS feed on this home page. Okay, yeah, I don't see it. Now, that doesn't mean I can't find it. I can probably guess it's going to be /feed. Let's see if I'm right. So all I did is just type /feed at the end. If I'm right, what'll happen is, because I'm using Firefox, Firefox will try and pull up the feed and it'll want to bookmark it in what's called live bookmarks, which looks like this. Okay, so as you can see, that is the correct feed. So what I would do is just copy and paste the feed URL into a notepad or an Excel document and then keep searching for more. What I'll do is once I have, okay, sorry, let's get out of here. It's not going to let me go. There we go. Okay. Okay, so there's another one, onlinedatingservicesinfo.com. Okay, so this one does list the RSS feed, so I can just click on it, copy the link location, and then that link will be saved. I'll paste it into my Excel document or my notepad, and then I'll get a big list. I'll have 5, 10, 15, 20, 50. I mean, really as many as I can find. I'm looking for blogs that have lots of content. I like blogs that already have comments on other posts, but I won't turn down one that doesn't have any comments. The reason why I like to see comments already is because it does tell me that the site is being visited and that people are commenting. In the case where the site has no comments up to date, so like this one. Okay, so let's look here. So see, this one's in August of 2009. What I want to do is go back to one of the first posts that was made to see if there was comments. Okay, yeah, so no comments, no comments, no comments. So there haven't been any comments at all, or very few, if any, to any of the posts that are on this site. I don't know how well this site ranks in the search engines. I don't know how much traffic it gets. So it's kind of a catch-22. I could take the time to post a comment to the blog posts that are on this site, but it could end up being that it's not going to get any traffic, because if this site never really gets any traffic itself, I'm not going to be able to leverage that. So it is kind of a crapshoot sometimes.
there are blogs where I will post comments to them and I won't get any traffic at all from those comments. You kind of have to do your best to judge, where your efforts are going to be best best utilized. If you find that you're finding lots of blogs but very little comments, it could be, like I said, that the site itself is just not performing well. It could be that the site is new as well. So that's the other side of the coin. If the site is new and it's not getting traffic now, as long as the owner has done a good job of getting backlinks to the site, making sure that it's SEO optimized and things like that, the site could start getting traffic in the future. So if this is a site that's going to get a lot of traffic in 6 months and you have your comments posted as the first comment on all of their blog posts, that's going to help you get traffic. So like I said, it is kind of a catch-22. You're really going to have to judge that yourself to decide what you want to do. But the key is to find blogs that either already have a lot of traffic or that you think are going to be well positioned to get traffic. If you want to have an idea of the kind of traffic that a site is getting, what you can do is you can go to quantcast.com, type in the URL, and click view. Okay, so it says there's no data for that site. You can also go to Alexa, just paste the URL, hit go. Okay, so it shows me there are 6 sites linking into this site, and it's ranked in the top 24 million sites. So if I go to, let's see if I can go to complete stats here. Yeah, so there's not much information about this site. Probably my guess is that it's a new site. To confirm that, I can go to domaintools.com and do a whois lookup for the site. This will tell me when the site was first registered, and good guess. So this site was first registered in August of 2009. So it is a rather new site. It's only 6 months old. I really don't know whether or not this site's going to get lots of traffic. It's the type of site where you could get a lot of traction from it. You could as well get nothing out of it. So it's hard to tell, but that's a way to do a quick double check. By going to Quantcast, by going to Alexa. You can also go to compete.com. Okay, and then compare. Okay, so sorry, you have to do more than one with that one. So let's see, get my X back easily. Let's try that one too. Okay, so get my X back easily. It looks like, yeah, they're both low sample sites. So as I guessed, these sites are relatively new. They're not getting lots of traffic yet. They may never get lots of traffic, so I may want to avoid them, especially if I'm getting a lot of traction from the forum posts that I'm making. If there's not a lot of blog posts out there that I can comment on, I may not worry about it. The key with the blog post, though, is to be the first person to post, or one of the first. So what I want to do is whenever I find a URL, I want to copy and paste it and then keep it in my Excel spreadsheet. Once I have the feed URL, what I can do then is go to Google Reader and add it as a subscription. Okay, so let's go back to blogs. It's in the past 24 hours. Okay, and then this was, I just want to grab an RSS feed URL for you so I can show you how to add it to Google Reader. Okay, so if you remember this site, this was the one that we could not find the feed for, but I was able to figure it out. This is also the site that puts me into this stupid loop, so let's get out of here. Okay, sorry, I want to put quotes around that. Okay, and ex-boyfriendgirlfriend.com, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to click on this, and there we go, there's the RSS feed. I'm going to copy the link location. Then I'm going to go into Google Reader, go to subscriptions, click add a subscription, paste the URL of the feed, click add. Okay, and it's just going to take a moment here for Google Reader to update that and to add it. There we go. Okay, so now I'm subscribed to the RSS feed for that website. Whenever new content is posted to ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, my Google Reader will update. Then I can just click on the link. I'll go directly to the site, and then I can add my comments. Okay, so as you can see, there are already quite a few comments on this site. Okay, so I may not want to post a comment to this particular post because I know it's not going to be the first. Instead, I can do something else. When I come across a situation like this, what I can do instead is do what's called a blog trackback. Now, with a blog trackback, it's basically a reference or a link that gets sent back to this site's owner, telling them that I have referenced this blog post. So here's an example. I go through and I read this post. So, my boyfriend and I broke up after 11 years. What is the best way to let go and stop thinking about him? Hurt my feelings, I just want to be done with it. I want real answers on good ways to move on, so I don't care what he is doing anymore. Okay, so this is someone who's having trouble getting over her boyfriend of 11 years. Now, this looks to me like this site is actually scraping content from something like Yahoo Answers or something like that. But I won't worry about that right now. Let's focus on the process. This would not be the type of post that I would post a trackback to, but I just want to, like I said, I just want to get you to understand the process. What you would do is then I would talk about, let's see, I would write an article about strategies to get your boyfriend back from after a breakup from a long-term relationship. So this is very specific to women looking to get their boyfriends back and women who are involved in long-term relationships. So, or excuse me, who were involved in long-term relationships. So I would then go ahead and create an article about strategies to win your ex-boyfriend back or to get over your ex-boyfriend after a long-term relationship. Once that post is ready to go live on my site, what I would do is I would come to this website. I would click on the trackback URI, okay, and then select copy link location. That's going to give me the full trackback URL for this post. When I'm in WordPress, what I'll do is there is a section to post the trackback URL. I'll post the trackback URL, and then what will happen is WordPress will send a ping to this website, this blog, telling them that I have referenced this post and that I posted the trackback URL. If they accept the trackback URL, what will happen is usually right above where the comments are, there'll be a section that says trackbacks and then a link to my site and that article on my site where I talk about those strategies. So whenever I come across a blog that already has lots of comments, my first thought is whether or not I can create an article or a post related to that topic, put it up on my site, and then set up a trackback. So that's another way that you can get traffic to your site from these sort of blogs. But you can do it even long after the post has been made, long after other people have already posted comments, because there are times where I'm going to find a blog post that's really old, something that's, say, a year old, that already has lots of comments, but I know that post is getting lots of traffic, because if I go in Google and search for all my keywords, I see it comes up in the top 10 results. So I definitely want to get my link on that site as well. A trackback is the way to do it. Okay, now if I want to help the process a little bit with finding blogs that I can post to, as well as keeping up to date on all the content that's being posted to these blogs, rather than using the process that we have used to search for blogs and then find their RSS feeds and add them to Google Reader like I showed you, you can use a software tool called Comment Sniper. Comment Sniper does all those things for you. You type in the keywords you want to search for. You select the different blogs you want to search at, whether it be a WordPress.com blog, a Blogger blog, or something of that nature. It'll find the blogs for you. It'll allow you to subscribe to them, keep track of them. It basically just keeps everything all in one application rather than having to go through multiple steps and use multiple tools. Only problem is, as far as myself is concerned, Comment Sniper doesn't work. Now, I believe it's because I'm using Windows Vista. Because when I had Windows XP installed on my computer, I was able to get Comment Sniper to work. When I upgraded to Vista, it no longer worked. I went to download it. Everything downloaded. It took me through the process of installing it, but then when I go to actually double click on the icon off my desktop to get it to operate, it doesn't function. It crashes every single time. It gives me error reports. So I don't really know why that's happening. I did a little bit of digging around. If you go to how to use under Comment Sniper, you'll see that there's a link to a Comment Sniper user form. When you click on that link, that form no longer exists. And then what I did is I did some digging around here on Duncan Carver's site, and I saw a post that he had made talking about how he wasn't able to devote as much time as he would like to the software, and was looking at possibly selling it off to someone else and having them develop it. So it's entirely possible that because of the recent upgrade to Windows Vista and Windows 7, Duncan has not updated the software and it will just not work with those versions of Windows. Because like I said, I was able to have it work properly on XP. So although I would like to show you how it works, unfortunately I can't get it to work on my computer. But you can see how it works here. I mean, you just go through a few steps to configure things. You can manage different blogs, so you can subscribe to the different blogs, so very similar to what we did with Google Reader. Okay, as well you can search blogs. Okay, so if you go down here for the blog searcher, you can enter in the keywords you want to search. You can choose the different blogs you want to search on. Okay, and then click search, and then Comment Sniper will bring back a bunch of different blogs related to those keywords for you. So, like I said, very similar to the process that I've done here manually, but it does help automate that a little bit. So it is free software. So if you're running Windows XP, or if you're able to get it to work on Vista, great. Download it, get it set up on your computer, and then you can use it to start finding blog comments or blog posts that you can comment on. Okay, so there we have it, everything that's covered in the 5th chapter of the free traffic methods. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.